My roommate often got up quietly in the middle of the night and put on makeup layer by layer in front of the mirror. It felt weird, so I couldn't help but post it online. Not long after, someone left a message. Be careful, people who put on makeup in the middle of the night may be zombies. When they need to change their skin, they will kill people. That night, when I was lying in bed, I suddenly felt a chill, as if something sharp was gently scratching my scalp. In the middle of the night, I got up to go to the bathroom. Claire putting on makeup at the table again. The lights were still off. It's strange that she doesn't remove her makeup before going to bed. What is even more incomprehensible is that she has to get up late at night to touch up her makeup every day. I couldn't help but post a thread to complain about this. Soon, netizens started commenting. Either they say my roommate is weird or they advise me to mind my own business. I see that I can't figure this out, so I prepare to go to bed. Suddenly a comment made my heart tighten. You get up in the middle of the night to put on makeup. Your roommate is a zombie. I immediately clicked on his profile. His name was Logan. I calmed down and suspected that this was a new type of scam. Unexpectedly, he sent me another private message. The corpse ghost touches up her makeup in the middle of the night because her skin decays too quickly. The more frequently she touches up her makeup, the sooner her skin will become unusable, and she will soon kill someone to replace her skin. I instantly broke out in a cold sweat. Because Claire has been touching up her makeup in the middle of the night quite frequently recently. I thought about it and replied, why should I believe you? Put her makeup mirror in the sun for an hour tomorrow. If she gets up to touch up her makeup at night, her true appearance will be revealed. The next day, I sneaked back to the dormitory while everyone was in class. I took Claire's makeup mirror to the playground and left it in the sun for 3 hours. At 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, Claire got up again to touch up her makeup. I sneaked out of bed, took out my phone and started recording. But the strange thing is that I didn't see Claire's true appearance until she finished putting on makeup and went back to bed. I was so angry that I crawled into bed and sent Logan 2 words, liar. Then I threw my phone to the ground and went to sleep. Unexpectedly, as soon as I closed my eyes, I heard Claire getting out of bed to touch up her makeup. Didn't you just finish it? Why do you need to make it up again? I can't help but think of Logan's words. The more often the corpse skin ghost reapplies her makeup, the sooner her skin will become unusable, and she will soon kill someone to change her skin. But then I thought, since it has been proven that Claire is not a ghoul, it would be fine for her to put on makeup 10,000 times. Go to sleep now and don't think too much. Unexpectedly, as soon as I fell asleep, I felt something sharp poking the top of my head. I opened my eyes blearily. I saw Claire standing at the head of my bed, scratching my scalp with her fingernails. I sat up with a start. What are you going to do? Claire smiled sinisterly. It's okay, just measure the size. I don't understand what this means. By the time I realized what was happening, Claire had already climbed into bed and gone to sleep. I panicked instantly and quickly turned on my phone. Logan happened to message me back. It seems that this corpse ghost is watching you very closely. She must have noticed that you were showing her mirror and switched it. It doesn't matter if you don't believe me. Let's just accept our fate. I quickly replied and said, I believe. Then I told Logan about how Claire had scratched my scalp with her nails, saying it was to measure my size. Logan responded quickly. It's over. When a corpse-skinned ghost changes to human skin, it always cuts a hole on the top of the head first. If she starts measuring the size tonight, she will definitely kill you and change your skin within 3 days. I panicked for a moment and glanced at Claire subconsciously. She was looking at me from under the quilt, smiling for some inexplicable reason. I immediately broke out in a cold sweat and quickly asked Logan if I should escape overnight. But he said that once you are targeted by the corpse ghost, you will not be able to escape even if you run to the ends of the earth. I was instantly frightened and burst into tears, begging Logan to find a way to save me. He said he would come to our school tomorrow. Let me give him my phone number and I can sleep well tonight. How could I possibly sleep? Stay up until dawn. I was just about to get up. Unexpectedly, Claire suddenly jumped out of the bed. Happy birthday. As he said this, he took out a hat from behind his back. I was worried that the hat was not the right size, but after secretly measuring your head circumference last night, I found that it was just right. The other 2 roommates also jumped off the bed. One gave me a pair of gloves and the other gave me a pair of socks. I was stunned. Only then did I realize that today is my birthday. Everyone prepared a birthday gift for me so thoughtfully. But I suspect every day that my roommate is a zombie. I'm really not a human being. I subconsciously glanced at Claire's makeup mirror. It's still the side I dried and I haven't replaced it with a new one. I had to suspect that Logan was using my fear to set up a scheme to kill pigs. During lunch, Logan suddenly called and said he couldn't buy a ticket for today and could only come tomorrow. I told him directly that he didn't need to come and that I had misunderstood my roommate. She measured my head circumference yesterday because she gave me a hat for my birthday. Logan was shocked. Did you wear the hat? I said, yes, I have. I also put on the gloves and socks given by my other two roommates. Logan's tone suddenly changed. Oh, it's all over now. Your 3 roommates are in the same group. They're all zombies. I smiled and said, stop scaring people. How can there be so many zombies? Unexpectedly, Logan asked me, is the brim of my hat where my crown is red? I said, yes, there is a little red ball on it. Are the palms of the gloves and the soles of the socks also red? Yes, there is a little red on it. I said. My roommate said this is called stepping on the lotus and grabbing good fortune. It means great luck and fortune. Logan panicked. What do you mean by good luck? These are 5 soul-locking nails. They will first lock your hands and feet, making you unable to move. Then the one on your head will directly lock your soul. You won't be able to scream when I peel your skin off. I smiled and said, that's enough. If you keep making up stories, I'll call the police. After saying that, I hung up the phone. Unexpectedly, Logan sent me another text message. Remember, don't eat grapefruit. Why can't you eat grapefruit? You're digging a new hole for me. I went to have hot pot with my roommates to celebrate my birthday in the evening. On the way back, we came across a fruit stand. Claire actually bought a grapefruit. The key is that when she picked the grapefruit, she picked it according to my head. Hey, this one is okay, it's the same size as Bella's head. I was suddenly panicked. Logan was right. The key is why he knew Claire would buy grapefruits. I dare not think about it anymore. My hands and feet suddenly felt hot. Even the top of the head seemed to be flowing with a warm current into the brain. I felt dizzy and panicked. Looking at the 2 little red flowers on the gloves, could this really be the soul-locking nail? Back to the dormitory. As soon as I enter the house, I take off my hat and gloves. Unexpectedly, my 2 roommates stopped me from picking them and said they wanted to take a photo with me. I tried to cooperate, but I saw Claire's nails had grown longer without me noticing, and they pierced from the top of the grapefruit into the skin. I felt a sharp pain on the top of my head. Then I watched Claire gently stroke down. It felt like it was slashing my face. She kept tearing the grapefruit peel and it was like tearing my scalp. It was so painful. I was completely panicked, so I pushed them both aside and ran out, taking off all my things and throwing them away as I ran. I just ran out of the dormitory door. Suddenly, a strange man on the other side of the road shouted to me, "Don't run, there's someone watching you from behind." I subconsciously looked back. Sure enough, several students at the dormitory door seemed to be busy with their own things. In fact, they were all secretly looking at me. I didn't dare to move for a moment. The man said he was Logan. When he found out that I was pinned with a soul-locking nail, he knew that the corpse skin ghost would take action tonight. So I asked a friend to help me get on the bus and buy the ticket so that I could arrive on time. I begged him to take the corpse ghost away quickly. Unexpectedly, Logan said that there were not only 3 zombies in our dormitory but many. He is no match alone. Because the time for each zombie to change its skin is different. So when one of them changes its skin, the other corpse ghosts will guard and help around. I was stunned. Where did so many corpse ghosts come from? Logan said he just checked the feng shui of our dormitory building. Our dormitory was built over a cremation pit. Many innocent souls who were burned to death were unable to reincarnate, and over time they became evil spirits. Their skin is burned, but they envy the delicate skin of girls. When resentment accumulates for a long time, it will turn into a corpse skin ghost, living on the skin of a corpse. Many of my classmates in our dormitory were kidnapped. He has already informed his fellow disciples in various places. Once they arrive, we can subdue them all. I suddenly went crazy and really didn't want to wait to die in this dormitory. But Logan said that the corpse ghost is very obsessed, and I will die a more miserable death if I run away. Then he handed me a red gauze scarf, saying that it had been offered in the Tianshu temple for many years. Let me wrap it on my head when I sleep, and the corpse ghost won't be able to see me. As long as he can survive tonight, he will have a chance to subdue this group of zombies. Then he told me not to trust anyone. I nodded tremblingly. I walked into the dormitory building holding a red scarf. I always felt that people were looking at me everywhere. So I deliberately exposed the red scarf to give myself courage. Just after taking a few steps, I was suddenly stopped by the dormitory manager. "Kid, why are you holding a spirit-calling banner?" My heart tightened. A spirit-calling banner? The dormitory manager pulled me into the office. "This red scarf is a soul-calling flag. Who have you offended? He wants your life." I was immediately panicked. But I suddenly remembered what Logan had told me not to trust anyone, so I turned around and was about to leave. Unexpectedly, the dormitory manager grabbed me and said in a panic, "Kid, I'm not trying to scare you. There is a zombie in our dormitory." I was instantly startled. The dormitory manager also knows about the corpse skin ghost. The corpse skin ghost is the best at bewitching people. Once you put on the soul-calling flag, the living soul will leave the body and be trapped in the 9 netherworlds and 3 wastelands. The corpse skin ghost will take the opportunity to peel off the skin and borrow the body to be reborn. Many students in our dormitory have had their skin peeled off and their souls replaced. Wake up, kids. After the dormitory manager said this, I lost my position instantly. In other words, what I experienced had happened many times before. The dormitory manager had witnessed all of this. If that's the case, Logan and the haunter should be in the same group. They worked together inside and outside to mislead the people and finally achieve the goal of changing the skin. But why did they make things so complicated? Wouldn't it be easy for 3 ghouls to subdue an ordinary person like me? But then I thought again. Logan came to catch the skin ghost, but the dormitory manager said Logan was the skin ghost. This is too targeted. Then there is another possibility that the dormitory manager is a ghoul. She is using a divisive tactic to make me make the wrong choice again so that Claire can successfully complete the skin change. I've doubted Logan several times and I ended up asking him for help. I can't make the same mistake again. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the dormitory manager opened a cabinet and found a statue of Guanyin Bodhisattva inside. I was confused again. If the dormitory manager is a corpse skin ghost, how can he offer sacrifices to the Bodhisattva? This also proves that the dormitory manager is not a ghoul. If she is not a ghoul, then her suspicion of Logan is justified. After all, she had been frightened many times. Could it be that because of the presence of the Bodhisattva, Logan had to work together with other ghouls to act out the drama? Once again I was in a state of confusion. At this time, the dormitory manager untied a red string wrapped around the Buddha's hand and handed it to me. I carefully looked out the window. He whispered to me, "There are some things I dare not tell you. Take this red string and tie it on your hand when you go to sleep. It will keep you safe tonight. Do not wear the spirit-calling flag." I thought about it. Anyone may not believe in it, but I believe in Bodhisattva. After returning to the dormitory, all 3 roommates were asleep. I didn't know if they were really asleep or if they would suddenly jump out of bed and attack me. I walked in carefully and climbed onto the bed quietly. I didn't dare to relax until I got into bed. I raised my hand and looked at the red thread, silently chanting "Buddha bless you" 3 times. As soon as I finished reading it, an idea suddenly popped into my mind. If Guanyin Bodhisattva really has a spirit, why does the ghoul still dare to live here? Even the statue of the Bodhisattva cannot suppress the corpse ghost, so how much effect can a red rope have? My scalp became numb from the rubbing. Logan's explanation popped into my mind again. Don't believe anyone's words. Will I make the wrong choice again this time? My head hurts. I took out the red scarf from the Tianshire mansion that Logan had given me, and looked at the Guanyin Bodhisattva safety rope that the dormitory manager had given me. Instead of making a choice, it is better to have double protection. The magical instruments of Buddhism and Taoism are all here. If the corpse skin ghost can still peel off my skin, that's what I deserve to die. I put the red scarf directly on my head. It was late at night and there was no movement. Maybe they really couldn't see me. Or maybe they were watching me, waiting for me to react. The more I dare not think about it, the more I start to have wild thoughts. Just then, I suddenly felt a pain on the top of my head. It felt like something sticky was flowing onto my scalp. I knew it was blood. I broke down instantly, because I couldn't move at all. Could it really be that the soul-summoning flag has trapped my soul? So why doesn't the safety rope work? Or maybe those 5 soul-locking nails from before had already locked me up. But at least it proves that the red scarf doesn't work, because the ghoul can still see me. No matter whose plan it was, I fell into it in the end. At this time, the nail poked my crown again. I cried out in pain. Then I heard a crazy series of screams. And from these sounds, it can be judged that there is more than one corpse ghost. Clara's voice suddenly came. Who? Then there was the sound of fighting, and I broke free from control in an instant and sat up suddenly from the bed. I immediately took off my red scarf, jumped up and turned on the light. I touched my head and saw a large amount of blood. I looked down at Claire and she was lying on the ground injured. The other 2 roommates sat on the bed in shock, looking confused. I was even more confused. What happened? If all 3 of them were zombies, shouldn't you peel my skin together? Why are there 2 of them sleeping? And who was Claire fighting with just now? Claire glanced at me and said, "The dorm manager came just now. She is the ghoul? My head is exploding. What kind of logic is this? Claire said that the red string on my hand was not a safety string at all. It was a ghost red string, specially used to lock souls. I couldn't move just now because of this red rope. The red scarf on my head is indeed a spirit calling pennant, which is used exclusively by ghost refiners. In other words, Logan and the dormitory manager are in cahoots. One wants to be reborn. One requires soul refining method. One of them devised a plan while the other one countered it. They seem to be slandering each other, but in fact they are singing the same tune. They both came just now. If she hadn't protected me, I would be dead now. I was completely confused and had no idea what this meant. Claire knew I had completely lost my judgment. Let me lift up the pillow and see. When I looked, I saw a talisman under the pillow. Claire said it was a talisman she put for me. Otherwise, my soul would have been led away by the soul-calling flag long ago. The dormitory manager can complete the skinning and rebirth tonight. I don't understand it at all. But I don't care anymore. Raise all the questions and ask Claire directly whether she is a ghoul. If she wasn't a corpse ghost, why did she always get up in the middle of the night to put on makeup? Claire smiled and said that she was the descendant of a geomancer. Getting up in the middle of the night is not to touch up makeup, but to practice opening the third eye. Because 2 o'clock in the morning is the most time. Plus, she is born with night vision. You can achieve it by practicing in front of a mirror for 3 years. Claire explained it perfectly. But if she was really the descendant of a geomancer, why couldn't she see that the dormitory manager was a corpse-skin ghost? Why not just arrest her? Unexpectedly, Claire raised her injured arm and said that not all descendants of geomancers are masters. I haven't even opened my third eye and am just a novice who knows a thing or two. I don't even have the ability to recognize or catch ghosts. No matter how Claire explains, I don't believe anyone now. Because it is very likely that she was tricking me into taking off the peace rope and red scarf. For those who can make up a perfect lie as soon as they open their mouths, I prefer to believe in the mute Guanyin Bodhisattva. So, I still stand as the dormitory supervisor. Unexpectedly, Claire laughed again. She said, "Didn't you notice that the dorm manager only placed a Buddha statue but didn't burn any incense?" I said, "That's because the school is taboo about these things." "No, it's because the Buddha statue has not been consecrated. A Buddha statue that has not been consecrated is just an ordinary sculpture. It's almost the same as a vase. And this is also the most brilliant hiding method of the dormitory manager as an old corpse ghost." I'm almost convinced by Claire. But I don't understand why they gave me hats, gloves and socks with soul-locking nails. Claire hasn't spoken yet. The other 2 roommates became anxious first, saying that is a set in itself. The 3 of them were almost out of living expenses, so they bought them for me separately. The little red flowers above are all brought by themselves. Claire also explained that if the Taoist priest could accurately tell the color above, it would prove that he was watching me nearby and was not from another place at all. Claire's explanation gave me goosebumps. What about the grapefruit? How did Logan know you would buy grapefruit? And why did your nails grow so long? Claire smiled and said, the grapefruit purchase may really be a coincidence. And my nails became longer because I just had a manicure today. I couldn't find a fruit knife when I was peeling the grapefruit, so I used my nails to cut it. After saying that, she stretched out her nails to show me. She explained everything perfectly. In particular, she described the purchase of grapefruits as a coincidence. If she could come up with a perfect reason, I would doubt her. But what should I do now? How can I escape this disaster? Claire said she had already informed her master, and when her master arrived, it would be easy to subdue the 2. The corpse ghost was injured just now, so I just need to sleep well tonight. How can I be steady? I didn't even dare to lie down, I just sat against the wall. At this time, Logan sent me a text message. He said that he had just come out of his spirit to save me, but was beaten by 4 corpse ghosts. Let me quickly take off the evil red string on my hand. If it weren't for that string, he would have a good chance of taking all 4 of them tonight. Also tell me that the corpse ghosts are very good at using words to deceive people, so never believe what they say. Otherwise I'll be in danger tonight. Claire and the other 2 roommates who were already asleep. I tried my best to control my panic and try to analyze the logic from it. The clearest point is that Claire and Logan both think that the dormitory manager is a zombie. At the same time, they all believe that this red line is a ghost red line. Then there must be something wrong with the dormitory management. But then I thought again, the dormitory manager and Claire both believed that the red scarf was a spirit calling flag. Then Logan has a problem too. Logan and the dormitory manager both thought Claire was a ghoul and poked my crown with their long nails. Then there must be something wrong with Claire too. The 3 of them accused each other. According to normal logic, all three of them have problems. But the only thing I can be sure of is that they are not in the same group. That means there must be one good person. Otherwise, if 3 people were to deal with a rookie like me, I would have died 100 times already. Therefore, my only chance to survive is to choose the person I believe in. The current situation should be a tie among the 3 parties. So, as long as I don't make any changes, I will be safe for now. Thinking of this, I felt more at ease. Whether he lives or dies will depend on tomorrow. It was just daybreak and everyone was still asleep, so I went to find the dorm manager. Rather than waiting to die, it is better to strike back. The dorm manager was exercising at the door of the dormitory. Strangely, she had a band-aid on her forehead. The dorm manager explained that she accidentally knocked on the door when she went to the toilet in the middle of the night. This explanation was far-fetched. But I didn't have any evidence to prove that she went to my dormitory last night. Then she asked me what happened last night. I stretched out my hand and said that I had to thank Guanyin Bodhisattva for her protection. So, I want to burn some incense to the Bodhisattva to express my gratitude. The dormitory manager smiled and said yes. When we arrived at the office, the dormitory manager opened the cabinet below and took out an incense burner and a bunch of incense. Claire said last night was lost. While placing the incense burner, the dormitory manager explained that this kind of thing was not popular in the school. So I could only hide the Bodhisattva and the incense burner. After saying that, he handed me 3 sticks of incense. After lighting it, I put incense and kowtowed 3 times. The strange thing is that the windows and doors are closed, but the smoke from the incense is flying everywhere. The dormitory manager said, there are corpse ghosts living in the dormitory all year round, and the aura is very unstable. But if a Buddha as big as Guanyin Bodhisattva is here, do these corpse-skin ghosts still dare to do whatever they want? That's why they use soul-calling flags to lure your soul away first. The living and dead Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the physical body cannot sense it. I think that makes sense. Then I asked, how many whites are there in this dormitory? The dormitory manager suddenly panicked. You can't say this nonsense. They don't like my old skin, but they will kill me. Then why doesn't the school invite Taoist priests to catch ghosts? How can the school believe this? Besides, logically speaking, no one really died here. After a ghoul wears a person's skin, it just lives for that person. Why would it cause trouble for itself when the school doesn't suffer any loss? Then I can't live in fear every day, right? The dorm manager patted my head and comforted me, just get through today. The ghoul only has 3 days to change its skin. If he still doesn't succeed tonight, we'll have to wait for the next cycle, which will be at least half a year. Then we'll think of another way. The look in the dormitory manager's eyes when she spoke was so sincere that it was hard for me to doubt her. After leaving the dorm manager's office, I went straight to find Logan. Logan was injured and resting in the hotel, his arm wrapped in thick gauze. I was about to speak, but Logan shushed me. He then took out a few talismans and stuck them on the window, saying that something was following me and was eavesdropping on our conversation. So our plans have been exposed. Now you can tell me? I originally wanted to say that I came to see him because I was worried about his safety. But when he was applying the talisman just now, I clearly saw a black gas coming out of his injured area, and there was also a faint strange odor. He seemed to sense my doubt. He immediately lit a cigarette, took a long puff of smoke and blew it onto his injured arm. I was injured by a corpse ghost and got poisoned by the corpse, but it's nothing serious. Then he said that his fellow apprentices would not arrive until tonight. But the ghoul probably won't be able to wait until tonight. They will start at noon today. I said they would be afraid of even a mirror that has been exposed to the sun, so how dare they do that in broad daylight? Logan said that when the yang reaches its peak, the yin will come, and they will start at noon. And they would find ways to lure me out of the dormitory and go to a cold place. She told me to remember not to go and to wear a red scarf and stay in the dormitory. He will come out of his body to protect me like he did last night. I wanted Logan to come directly to our dorm. However, he said that the girls' dormitory was too gloomy and he had to stay in a very young place to exert his greatest magical power. Otherwise we will both die. Or I could just stay with him. I panicked for a moment. What if he was the real corpse ghost? Wouldn't that mean I was walking into a trap? Besides, I only met him online for 2 days. He was so enthusiastic in helping me that it was hard not to suspect that he had ulterior motives. So I said, since things have come to this, I am willing to act as bait to lure out the corpse ghost and catch it all in one fell swoop. I can't let other students suffer such danger again. Logan didn't expect me to be so brave. He promised me that he would never let the ghouls hurt me. I had just left Logan's place when I got a call from Claire. She was worried that something had happened to me. I said I was just out getting breakfast for everyone. I took some food back to the dormitory and saw that Claire's injury was not serious. Claire said that the ghoul should know that he had sought help from outside. They may take action at noon today. This dormitory building is the base of the zombies. So we'd better hide somewhere else. As long as her master could arrive at night, he could subdue them all. As expected, Logan was right and we had to change places. But why does Logan guess so accurately every time? Is it because of his great Taoist skills that he can guess everything? Or did he collude with the ghoul to deliberately confuse me? I had some logic at first, but it all became a mess again. But then I thought, if Claire was a ghoul, she really wanted to take me to another place. Why bother discussing this with me? Can't you just knock me out and take me away? This initial suspect turned out to be the least suspicious in the end. Finally, I decided not to listen to anyone but myself. I went to the playground early in the morning. A place with the most boys, the strongest yang energy, and in broad daylight. I wonder which zombie dares to come out and peel my skin at this time. Unexpectedly, just at 12 o'clock, the sky, which had been sunny, suddenly became covered with dark clouds. In a few minutes it started to rain heavily. In an instant there was no one left on the playground. Is God going to let me die too? I couldn't stand in the rain anymore. He ran to the equipment room next to the playground. I refused to go back to the dormitory. Who knew that this equipment room was a semi-basement? In order to prevent the equipment from being oxidized by sunlight, the windows were sealed tightly. I really didn't expect that after hiding for so long, I would end up in an extremely dark place. But the sports equipment inside has been played by many boys. It should have been exposed to a lot of yang energy. I tried to comfort myself. Just then, I heard some noise in the room inside. I walked over quietly and found it was the dormitory manager. She was tidying up a table to be used as an altar, on which was placed a statue of Guanyin Bodhisattva. The dormitory manager said that she was burning incense in the office this morning and was discovered and reported by her classmates. She had no choice but to invite the Bodhisattva here temporarily. I asked if it was the corpse ghost who reported it. The dorm manager looked panicked and quickly signaled me to keep my voice down because something was following me. Just as she finished speaking, Claire pushed the door open and came in. My heart shuddered. Could it be that Claire was the real zombie? Unexpectedly, Claire ran over and protected me. He yelled at the dormitory manager, "If you dare to touch my roommate, I will definitely ask my master to seal you for 10,000 years. I didn't expect Claire to do this out of the blue. I was stunned again. Unexpectedly, the dormitory manager suddenly knelt in front of Claire. He kowtowed and begged, "Lady Corpse Skin, please let us go. You have almost replaced all the girls in the dormitory. I'm also a mother and it hurts me to see this. If you really want to replace skins, use my skin." The dormitory manager also did this, which made me even more confused. I subconsciously moved my feet and stood between them. As long as one of them is a good person, I will have a buffer. If neither of them is a good person and it is just a show to confuse me, then I can only beg Logan to save me. Suddenly there was a thunderclap and my cell phone rang. It wasn't a call from Logan but the alarm on my phone that I had set. I knew that it was 12 o'clock noon, the time of the most yang. The most yang is the most in, so they would definitely take action. At this time they both looked straight at me as if they might rush over at any time. I immediately pulled out a mirror from behind and shone it towards the dormitory manager. The dormitory manager screamed and revealed her true form. She was a black skeleton without flesh and blood and covered with pus. She struggled and tried to pounce on me. I immediately took out another mirror from behind. The two mirrors worked together, and the black skeleton suddenly turned into a pool of pus. Claire was surprised. "How do you know that the dormitory manager is a ghoul?" I smiled and said, "I couldn't tell the difference at first. But it suddenly occurred to me that all your words of deception are mutually valid. Only the dormitory manager said that Logan was a corpse ghost. And you said that Logan was a soul refiner. This at least proves that you two are not in the same group." This morning I went to the dormitory manager's office to burn incense to the Buddha. I found that there were 4 sticks of incense left in the incense burner. When I was a child, I heard from the elders that 3 incense sticks should be burned when offering incense to gods and Buddhas. Only 4 incense sticks are burned when offering incense to ghosts. The fact that the smoke rising from burning incense does not go upwards further proves that the Bodhisattva has not been affected by the incense. In other words, the Bodhisattva statue was indeed not consecrated and was just a deceptive decoration. The dormitory manager burns incense every day, but in fact he is borrowing someone else's skin to burn incense for himself. That is to say, you support yourself. So, she can go a long time without having to change her skin. As long as I can identify who is the ghoul, I will know how to break the situation. So, when I went to the playground, I brought 2 mirrors with me. It was exposed to the sun for several hours. Unexpectedly, what Logan said was right. The mirror filled with yang energy could indeed kill the zombies. That also proves that Logan is not a zombie. The remaining ghouls are you and the other 2 in the dormitory. Do you dare to let me look at you in the mirror? Claire was stunned and didn't have time to react. I held up a mirror and pointed it at her. Unexpectedly, Claire was fine. I looked at her in the mirror several times and she was still intact. It suddenly occurred to me that Claire had been reflected in a mirror before. Could it be that her realm was higher? Or is she really not a ghoul? Claire looked at me and started crying out of grievance. She said that I had been slandering her all the time, but she was not angry at all, and she even tried to protect me. I didn't expect that. I still doubt her now. After saying that, Claire turned around and was about to leave angrily. I quickly grabbed her and kept saying sorry. At this time there was another thunder outside. A ghost appeared in the window. I knew it was Logan's ghost. But the current situation has confirmed that Claire is not a zombie. Then Logan must be the soul refiner that Claire mentioned. Fortunately, I didn't wear the red scarf he gave me. But the corpse ghost can be dealt with by a mirror, so I, the soul refiner, really don't know what to do. I was so scared that I threw myself into Claire's arms. Claire also hugged me tightly and told me not to be afraid. At this moment, I suddenly felt a pain in my back as if something had pierced my back. Claire's voice suddenly changed and it became sinister and strange. The skinning ghost doesn't peel the skin from the top of the head, but from the back. I broke out in a cold sweat. As I spoke, I felt Claire's nails starting to scratch down my back. But strangely, she suddenly stopped moving. Claire was also confused. What's going on? I laughed and left Claire's arms. How can you move after being hit by my talisman? Claire was stunned. Who are you? I reached out and pulled out a grapefruit peel from my back with Claire's nail marks on it. I stuck the grapefruit peels into Claire's fingernails. She smiled and said, I am the true descendant of the Geomancer. I'm playing dumb just to lure you 3 out. I am so frustrated. As I said that, I took out a talisman and stuck it behind the mirror. I didn't see your true form just now because I didn't add this talisman. This should be fine now. Claire was instantly terrified and yelled, My husband won't let you go. I smiled and said, You and your husband were busy trying to get someone, but you didn't expect that I would be the one to get someone in the end. I turned around and shouted out the window, Grandpa, did you catch that one? Grandpa, shh.